Welcome to episode 121 of Business Growth School for Service Providers. I'm your host Ali Salman, and this podcast is brought to you by Rapid Boost Marketing, online marketing for service providers. Today we are talking about a very interesting topic because I get asked this question so many times, and I'm sure a lot of you are actually very curious about this. How much search engine optimization or SEO services should cost? What should cost? How much should it cost you to help you rank well on Google? Now, what it used to happen that in early 2000s and even till 2010, search engine optimization was fairly easy. There were less people using it, it was less competitive, and also from a Google side they were not actually cramping on or or they were not discouraging, I would say, the shortcuts and all the great techniques, or which are technically not ethical and moral, but a lot of people are doing that. I mean, example, that people are stuffing their websites with keywords, although it has nothing to do with that keyword, but that they have no information whatsoever, but they were stuffing it out. But eventually what search the algorithm, Google and Bing, they became really smart, and that required the search engine optimization strategy to also evolve, to also become really smart, to become long term. So that's what we call that, whenever you are out there in the market, you're looking to do it yourself, you're hiring someone internally, you're getting it done from an agency or an outsource provider. The whole idea is that you need to make sure that they're applying long-term strategies and techniques, because if they're not applying long-term strategies and techniques, if they're using shortcuts, guess what, let's say you get penalized, so you get banned. Now, I mean, you have to start from the bottom up again. It's building a building, and now you're at the 15th floor, and someone comes to you and says, hey, you know what, your foundation is wrong. You have to demolish everything. So why are you basically building a building on a flawed foundation? So make sure that if you are out there hiring for SEO services, or you work with an SEO provider, quality 100%, over price, because it might as well don't spend money in SEO if you cannot budget a price right now, but rather rather actually going with a cheap provider, because that will gonna hurt you, right? There's no way that you can win by applying shortcuts. So this kind of three-tiered, in the show notes we have broken down the SEO prices. If they start from $1,000 a month, it talks about the local service provider in a smaller city, all the way to $5,000 a month. This is pretty good for a small service providers. I mean, landscaping, paving companies, anyone who's providing services locally. Then there's a next bracket comes in, which is $5,000 to $10,000, and in that bracket usually it's for companies who have maybe multiple locations, or they want to aggressively grow. Let's say they are in 3 cities, or they are in 4 cities, so something like that of a package works sense. Or they may want to go for province-wide targeting, so that kind of package makes sense for them, or a price point makes sense for them. Then you have a price points over $10,000 to $20,000 a month. Now this is basically for companies who are looking for very ambitious growth goals. I mean, this is we have few clients in that category, and they're basically 6 locations, or they are 5 dental clinics that are looking to grow aggressively. So the amount of work which goes into, of course, depends on the results, but there are no shortcuts. It's not that tomorrow, if people are paying high that they've hired a very dedicated SEO team, tomorrow it will be a magic and it will going to start working. No, it basically takes 3 months, or anywhere all the way to a year to show a proper ROI. Now, what things you should be avoiding of, or what you should be suspicious about. Number one thing is guarantees. Make sure that if someone gives you a guarantee, run away from them. There's no guarantee for life. I mean, it's a very interesting that people give guarantees when even Google doesn't give a guarantee. It's fast changing industry, so there are no guarantees. Second, getting instant results. If someone promises you instant results, guys, there is something shady, there is something not ethical about it. Please don't do it. Okay. Number 3, someone guaranteeing you number 1 spot on Google. No one can promise you number 1 spot on Google. Yes, they can promise you that we're gonna help you rank higher for keywords and for phrases, but you cannot say, you know what, let's pick up a dentist New York keyword and I'll get you that number one position. If they do, that means that, like, they're lying to you, because technically no one controls that. Yes, you can do all the right things in order to achieve number one spot, but there's no guarantee that if you're going to do those 50 things, you're going to be your guaranteed number one spot. Number four, cost lower than $1,000 to $750 a month. When it comes to search engine optimization, you are in shopping for lowest price. You're seeking the best level of service, and be wary of log bottom prices and unbelievabilities. I've actually linked to an article by by VentureBeat in the show notes, and they talk about how people are basically getting scammed by low tiered pricing, pricing packages. Then, shady link building services. Now, what a lot of cheap service providers do, that they have a very automated, or like a mass link building services, which doesn't help their business at all. So make sure that you have a proper link building services, because if you don't have a proper link building services, or if your SEO provider is actually taking shortcuts when it comes to link building, you will gonna get slammed by Google. It's not worth to basically take that route. So make sure that in the show notes there's actually another thing. It's called how long does it take to rank. We actually did this podcast episode a couple of weeks ago, so make sure you also go over that, and then go over the show notes here, so you're really good, this information, that how much SEO services cost around, around in the market, in your local market, and what you should be paying for as a local service provider. I'll catch you in episode 122 of Business Growth School for Service Providers. I'm your host, Ali Salman, and this podcast is brought to you by Rapid Boost Marketing, online marketing for service providers. Have a good day, guys. Make it count. Bye bye.